The e-learning initiative that I chose was learning to learn outside of classroom walls. The reason why I chose this initiative is for several reasons. I believe that students were having a difficult time learning to teach themselves and learning to get resources online, and they were becoming overly dependent on teachers. So I wanted to implement a strategy that uses e-tools and technology to facilitate learning. I wanted to teach students to reason and learn for themselves at their own pace using differentiated methods. And I wanted to invest in a way to constantly communicate with parents and allow parents the ability to peek inside of our classrooms and the opportunity to understand what we were learning. In the past, I have invited parents to coach classes, but it's just not enough for them to truly understand the learning that's taking place in the classroom. So by doing that, I decided to create a class website using Weebly that kind of outlined the initiative that I wanted to take. So the platform is here, Mrs. Forsyth's Classroom, and the first page that comes up is just general information about me. If I go to the About column, it's actually more things about the classroom, my testimony, my family, just to give students an insight into who I am, which is the fourth reason why I wanted to start this initiative, to build relationships with students and to spend less time in class talking and more time actually getting to know my students, getting to know their strengths and their weaknesses academically and personally. The next thing you see is classrooms, which we are going to come back to in a minute. If you go to the parent page, then you'll see kind of an introduction to parents and giving them some techniques and strategies on how to help them through this e-learning model. It also gives a link to the parent survey, which kind of gives me insight into their home situation and the strengths and areas of development of their student, and also a way for parents to contact me. I also have included a frequently asked questions page for students and parents or families who are new to this flipped model, so that they understand what is homework like now, how do we access the videos, how do I log in to a particular e-learning tool, and that type of thing. We also have a direct link to BCPS 1, which is our learning management system, and this will kind of help students get right to their grades and right to assignments that they may be missing. In addition, there's a mathematician masterpieces page, which is where students and I will be showing off some work that they're doing. We'll also be using Seesaw to do this, to keep kind of a digital portfolio of what students have been doing in our class. And then lastly, we have a What's New page, which is where I will kind of post some updated things about what's going on in the classroom, some projects or assignments that we've been working on, to keep any stakeholder kind of in the loop as to what's going on inside of my classroom, and just to be transparent. So back to the classrooms page, I have standard geometry page set up, and which it gives an introduction of what geometry actually is. And then I have an infograph, which is the syllabus on the geometry class, kind of the expectations of what we'll be learning, supplies and material, like the e-learning tools that they'll be using. I also made a Voki for the grading policy, which is embedded here, to kind of give them an idea of how some things will be graded. I'll give you a tidbit of that.
Your grading policy is as follows. Learning checks or entry and exit tickets are worth 5 points.
Just to give you an idea of that, I will also be doing a Powtoons on the character and personality traits that that will reveal to me like a good productive student. So just letting kids know about the high expectations that I have for them on this page, and if they want to go to the actual assignments, they can click here. Once students are taken to the next page, they'll see kind of the system that's set up for the class, where each student, according to a pretest, is broken up into different belts or levels, which can be changed at any time according to their progress and growth. White belt, yellow belt, orange, blue, and black. And these belts will let students know where they are in the process of kind of learning the unit's knowledge targets. This one here, this link here, being a student 101, will take kind of everyone to the page where they need to learn how to write notes, how to get to know people in my class, how to work in a group, and that type of things. And those are some of the tasks that we'll be going through during the first days of class. And as you'll see, that online activity is here, and it's been embedded through TES Teach. And to start off, it has the drill, it has kind of the tasks that they're going to go through and what they need to understand throughout this online task that day. An Ed Puzzle video, the actual quiz that they'll be taking, what they'll be doing the next time. You can definitely look through that on your own time. And then it kind of gives a blurb about what day 2 and day 3 look like in the class and so on. So this will be the page where actual assignments will be set up, and students can come here if something is missed or if they didn't quite complete a task. Other classes are also kind of populated with information, not so much, but it will be. But this is the framework. So the premise is the judo belt system, the attainable and measurable objectives, the pretest, the personal learning plan, productivity and progress of the students. And so let's talk about the pretest a little bit. The pretest will give me information about the students' abilities and strengths so that we only focus on their area of need, and everybody is constantly growing and getting better. No one is stagnant. No one is working on something that they are already quite comfortable with. Everyone is kind of pushed to their limits. The next thing is the personal learning plan, which is something that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to implement yet, but I definitely want to do it, where students have a list of the objectives that are their responsibility, and it may be different from the person next to them. It may look different. Their path may look different from the person next to them, but it is unique to them so that they know what they need to do to attain or achieve their goals. So it's modified for everybody. So if you present with a deficit and adding and subtracting negative and positive numbers, that will be taken into consideration as we progress kind of through this higher level math of trigonometry and geometry, knowing that we can't go all the way back to a 4th or 5th grade skill, but we can try to accommodate the learning so that that is taken into consideration and you learn in the best way possible for you. The next thing is productivity. Students have been passive for a very long time, and I want to kind of create a balance of engagement, motivation, and excitement about learning in each student, because I think that that has been lost in math, and so many students come to class and tell me how much math is not their favorite subject, and I believe it is because of the traditional model and the traditional way that it has been taught. I've witnessed students in a judo math classroom where it's self-paced and it's according to their ability and how they want to learn it, and I've seen them kind of blossom in the area of math where they came in the classroom hating it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this model will bring out that sort of excitement in students this time around as well. Progress and growth. Students need to be constantly aware of where they are. I kind of started this a little bit in class where I posted students' names on the wall and their exit ticket results by way of a red sticker, yellow, or green. And students didn't like seeing the red. Some of them didn't like seeing the yellow. So it gave them an idea of, okay, I didn't master this objective, so let me try and go back and fix that. And they actively seeked out ways from me to say, I didn't pass this objective. What can I do to do that. So it then forced me as the teacher to already have prepared some classwork assignments or some type of handout that they could use to prove their mastery in that area. So hopefully this is a way too for them to kind of track their progress and say, okay, I didn't master this objective that I was supposed to, so let me go back on my own time and kind of seek out knowledge for that. Seek and you shall find. So I guess the whole premise of this e-learning initiative is to teach students how to be active learners and not passive anymore. I think the day is over for the traditional model of students sitting in rows of desks looking at the teacher to be kind of the proprietor of all information. I think that is too much information out there available in the world for that model to be yet sustainable. I think that as educators, we have to transform it as well and understand that we don't control the content anymore, that it's there, it's available for everyone, and students are able to go and get it the way that they choose. I hope you enjoyed the e-learning presentation that I gave, and I hope that you take on the mission of teaching students to learn for themselves.